Today, maybe for the first time, you've heard us talking about abortion as murder. And you have, if you looked at our resolution, you'll read that that's what we're saying, it is murder. And a lot of people might think that's a very harsh thing to say, that abortion's murder. Do we have to call it murder because that means moms are murderers that kill their children? That means dads are murderers that kill their children. And the question I want to ask and pose to you and then show you is, what if we don't call it murder? We're thinking about the woman when we're ashamed to call it murder or to say it's murder. But what about the child when we don't call it murder? And what about the world when we don't call it murder? What does the world see when we don't call what it is, right? When we hide words. So I'm going to ask you to play the video real quick. This is, we look at the pro-choice movement. This is a pro-choice video.
You may have noticed some fighting over Planned Parenthood recently.
Watch a fully formed fetus on the table, its heart beating, its legs kicking.
I'm not supporting Planned Parenthood.
We just don't want an organization engaged in the activities that these videos show Planned Parenthood was engaged in.
But really, it's not about Planned Parenthood. It's about a bigger crusade.
Do you want to see Roe v. Wade overturned?
Ultimately, I would love to see it overturned.
But for those who want to cut off access to abortion, there's one phrase that's thrown around a lot.
Abortion is murder.
Abortion is murder.
Abortion is murder.
The very, very large bulk of the religious population of America thinks that abortion is murder.
I think if you had a womb with a window, it would never happen.
But can pro-lifers really call abortion murder?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Here in Rochester, New York, a few hundred people have gathered at the Right to Life convention, and their views on abortion are pretty cut and dry.
With liberty and justice for all, born and unborn.
So do you think abortion is murder?
Yeah, I do. I think it is.
Is it like murder?
Well, any killing of a life is murder. That is whether it's in war, whether it's an abortion, whether it's whatnot. Mm-hmm. So of course.
Mm-hmm. I think that abortion is murder, personally.
Should we ban abortion?
Should we, I would turn it out. Should we kill 5-year-olds who are just a pain in the neck? Should we kill teenagers when they, won't clean up their room?
Do we pass a law? Do we make abortion illegal?
I don't know. I think abortion should be illegal just because I think, is it legal for me to just kill you right now? Of course not. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I hope not too.
What do we do? So having, decision to have a baby is a simple decision.
It's about as simple as my deciding not to whip out my trusty pocket knife and go after you.
On the surface, these people believe that life starts at conception and that abortion is murder. But when we got beyond the rhetoric, the people we spoke to were loving, kind-hearted, and sympathetic. And the way they view a woman who has had an abortion is very different than how they would view a woman who hires a hit on her own child.
I don't necessarily think that people who are having abortions are murderers.
I'm not going to sit here and say we should throw all those people in jail because that's just impractical, right?
No pro-life person will ever be and say incriminate the woman.
So abortion is murder, but women who get them aren't murderers. Not everyone believes this is a reasonable leap in logic. This is Wendy Davis. She made national news by holding an 11-hour filibuster to protect abortion rights in Texas.
I'm not yielding for any questions at this point.
The dual senator does not yield.
Just under the 11-hour mark.
The Lieutenant Governor has agreed that SB 5 is dead.
For Wendy, this issue hits close to home.
I've had an abortion. I faced a very difficult choice in a pregnancy that was much wanted. Post 20 weeks, when I discovered that my daughter was suffering from an irreparable and non-life sustaining brain deformation or malformation. And it was one of the most heart-wrenching decisions I've ever had to make, and I made my decision out of love.
And although all of the people that I spoke to at the convention were against exceptions, most pro-life Americans support them. 60% of Americans who identify as pro-life support legal abortions in at least some circumstances. Pro-life advocates are quick to compare abortion to murder. But when forced to analyze the consequences of their own position, they quickly jump from this.
If you consider killing murder, then I would say abortion is murder.
To this. Wouldn't the woman who gets an abortion then be a murderer? Is she a murderer? Or?
I feel like that's a very harsh term.
So should pro-lifers really be equating abortion to murder? Wendy says no.
The idea that a politician would step into that decision for me and displace my ability to do out of love what I knew was right for a daughter that I wanted very much it's not only insulting, it's disgusting.
Do you think abortion is a moral issue?
I think abortion is a personal issue.
The phrase abortion is murder is used to ignite political support, but it's inconsistent with pro-lifers' actual views. Abortion isn't murder. They're two different things.
So, her argument was because pro-lifers will not say that the mother's a murderer, therefore it is not murder. That's her whole argument. There's no other argument there. So when we don't call abortion murder, when we say it's murder to kill a child, but the person killing the child, the abortionist or the mother and father, they're not murderers, we are two-faced? What'd you see? What did you think about the people? Feel kind of embarrassed for them? Like, oh, they kind of just got shown, right? So that's what the world says. Well, look at these people are saying one thing and they're acting a different way. So it is important that we are consistent in our words. If abortion is murder, then we must treat it like murder and we must act accordingly. Does that make sense? Okay? And it's very important, though it is harsh. It is a harsh reality, it's a harsh truth. It's hard to go through. And that's what is so important about what we are doing. Why do we feel like we can call abortion murder when most people don't? Because our message is, what was the third tenet, Natalie? What are we? Anybody? Gospel-centered. We call abortion murder because we know a God that forgives murderers. Okay? So we shouldn't be fearful of using the term and being consistent with its carried out. Does that make sense? So I just wanted to share that because I know in our society and culture we are inconsistent like that all the time, and it is a joke. We're inconsistent like that with our Christianity, and it is a joke. And the world knows it. So do young people, and that's why they're leaving Christianity, because we're not consistent with our beliefs. Okay.